Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show right now somebody that I've been watching his special since I was a little kid. Some of my favorite movies that you've been in. And we'll start off this question right after I say who it is. Louie Anderson. Where is the DVD box set for Life with Louie?
It's in Disney's hands. So if you have any contacts at Disney, we'd love to do it. We've been trying to do it. It's just one of those things, like, I don't know how to put out a box set of DVDs. Do you?
Well, once they say, all right, we're going to actually physically manufacture it.
You have to give them a proposal.
Right, and then...
Will you set this up if I get you a meeting?
I can.
Then you could be the guy who distributes. Honestly, wouldn't that be a cool thing? That you are going to become the distributor worldwide of the first box set of 39 episodes of Life with Louie. Why not?
Why not?
Because
I would love to sit down and do the commentary with you.
I'd love to do the commentary. Why
that
don't you
seems like the most fun part of it.
Do you have a lawyer or a friend or anybody at Disney?
My sister is a travel agent for Disney.
Perfect.
So she may know people.
Tell her to stop all the flights until, why am I in coach? Well, we'd like to talk about Life with Louie, and then I'll get you up to first class.
Do you still get people talking to you about Life with Louie?
Every single day.
For those who don't know, Life with Louie was an animated series that Louie developed, roughly based on stories of your life and other things. That was on Fox, I think the Saturday morning Fox Kids, from 95, 98.
Bought it. And then Disney bought Fox Family.
So if you grew up in the 90s, of course, you've watched the show. You played yourself as a younger version, but you also played your dad, right?
Yes, I played my dad. Didn't anyone else have a dad like that?
It was always a lot of indifference.
The noisiest dad in the world. You know what I mean? You'd know he was home by,
He was always like, look, I love the kid, but I'm always disappointed in what the kid does.
Louie, when Canada invades, and they will, he was that kind of dad. He was always giving advice.
He's like, there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I've tried to help you.
I've tried to help Louie, and he's his mother's son.
But that's so great that, years removed since the series has been off the air, that people still have a fondness for this. You do find YouTube clips now and then when people put that up there. But, we got to get the box set rolling.
Can I tell you a great story?
Please.
So I have a Life with Louie page, and 150,000 of them on the page are from Turkey and Romania and Poland and Russia, because Life with Louie in the 90s was a giant hit there.
Wow.
And people from those countries find their way to Vegas to see me on occasion. But here's the cool thing. Like, the NFL let us use in Life with Louie their logo for the Packers and the Bears, right?
Right.
And because the show took place in Wisconsin, even though I grew up in Minnesota, because lawyers said, here, make it in Wisconsin, then people can't sue you, which I regret. But, lawyers, they just tell you stuff and you do it. So if you were to go on their pages, when I communicate with the people from Turkey and Romania and that, they're fans of the Green Bay Packers.
Just because of your show.
I can't imagine otherwise why. Can you?
Well, it could be that old thing where, maybe they lost the playoffs or the Super Bowl and the merch was already made, so they ship it over there.
Maybe, but to see the Life with Louie as their favorite show and the Packers as their favorite team, I just think it just seems like a link to me. It's one of those Midwestern things. I think Life with Louie still has a life of its own, and people love it. They come up to me in the hall here. 2 people came up and said, hey, I have a cold. One guy said, I have a cold. I don't want to give you my cold, but your cartoon made my life.
Let me ask you about the other countries thing. So you said Life Louie has this big fan base abroad. While you're doing the show, do you get the tapes of when they have to do the other voice actors?
Yeah,
so you
I've
hear
seen them
yourself
all.
in Russian and all of that?
18 different languages.
So weird, right?
But they get the essence. They got the dad right. They get the kid. Oh.
Right.
I mean, that sounds like that in Turkey.
And those are fun options to have on the box set. So when you can choose the
you
English.
Mean when you do?
When I put the box set out, when you.
But I'm serious. Wouldn't this be a great thing? Speaking of being serious, unserious. Wouldn't that be the greatest thing that I have been trying to get this on, and that I come here and this kind of a nugget.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
It's just someone has a genuine interest
out there. We're interested.
Right.
Louie at LouieAnderson.com. And I mean, this show, I still can produce it. I still, if somebody really wants to go all in, we can do another 26 episodes and have 5 years of Life with Louie.
How weird would it be if they do greenlight the box set and they said, yeah, we don't want you involved. We're going to have other people just do the commentary,
Listen.
redub the voice.
Yeah, I would love that. Nothing would make me happier if somebody can nail it.
While watching the foreign stuff, which like on some box sets, like The Simpsons, they do put that on there. So you're watching Homer in French and in Italian and everything. And
Do they nail it? Like,
No,
they don't?
Because I don't know the language, so they're obviously doing the dialogue. But I know, growing up, The Simpsons is so ingrained with me till this day. Like that is my thing.
Yeah.
And I know the cadence, I know the lines, I know the jokes sometimes before they're coming up. So when you're watching it in the foreign languages, they're translating, but sometimes they're not giving the essence of what the joke is or the emotion being expressed while they're doing the animation.
So what does that say? Does that say that no matter what, people will watch anything?
Well,
I mean, I'm just asking because, like,
I think it's
like, that
people in
was
other
really
countries really
important
want to
to-
watch American products.
because that was really important to me that the other countries got the essence.
Right.
And the guys who did Life with Louie, the dad and the Louie character, are big stars in Turkey. They were at their Comic-Con.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Life with Louie is bigger in Turkey than it is in America.
Did you have any merconsing during that time
Can you
period?
handle that too when you're putting it all
We
together?
could. We need some plush dolls. We need a little Funko
Yeah.
Pop thing.
I wanted to have a little dad that went, God. There
you go.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that right?
Just hang it on the wall like
Yeah.
the singing bass.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The same type of
You
thing.
walk into the room and he's just already
We
disgusted.
did do a bunch of merchandise, shirts and Life with Louie. Hey, can you give me my coat one more time? I'm going to show you what else we did. We did this. That's now yours.
What?
This is an original that we did when the show came out.
Oh, wow.
So there's a true Life with Louie fan. It's a pin. You know, people collect pins all the time. and
Yeah.
that's the original. Those are the originals.
I can have this?
Yep. You can have it.
Jesus, man. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, I mean, look how much you love Life with Louie. Why would I want to? I am Life with Louie, so
I know. I'm talking to
so,
Louie. It's
yeah.
kind of an honor here.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so
I
much
love
for
Life
that,
with
man.
Louie. I feel like the best thing I was able to create. I came from a completely dysfunctional family, and I was able to clean it up enough
Right.
to present it to people and still keep the essence of everything. Like everything's underneath with those characters, you know. And so I
Right.
was able to, you know, and that's why I think it resonates because, you know, I think Louie was trying to figure it all out, and I think Dad was a know-it-all, and Mom was the peacekeeper. And you know, I'm really proud of it. It's the best thing. It's one of the best things I ever did.
Well, look, I'm a guy that loves animation, stuff like
Yeah.
that, and there's a lot of stuff out there. Not a lot of it good. Especially some of the stuff from my childhood that I look back fondly on them. But if you watch it today, it doesn't hold up like He-Man and Voltron and GI Joe and stuff like that. But the jokes in Louie were it was on that Rugrats level where it was enough that the kids enjoyed it, but there was
Yeah.
stuff where if the parents are watching, like, oh, I see what he's talking about, I get it.
I'll give you a great example. They used to you know, like we'd give them a script, and Standards and Practices would take out something, and then they would leave
For
in
a cartoon.
and then they would leave in butter liquor, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like when you know, my mom said to Louie, "No cats." Why not? Because they licked the butter. We can't keep it. You're a butter licker, right?
Yeah.
And so that got in, which has all kinds of stuff in it.
Other innuendos,
they should,
yeah.
that they should. And that's what I tried to do with the show. Is I tried to have.
You didn't dumb it down.
I didn't dumb it down. I wouldn't do it. I didn't dirty it up. They came to me and asked me to make it more like The Simpsons, and I just didn't know where couldn't do it. And I wish I would have, in hindsight, in one sense, to save Life with Louie. But I didn't have those kind of, you know, I didn't have that capacity.
Right.
Where, you know, if you're drawing art in your mind or you're making art with a group of people, you know, you don't want to change your art to appease somebody who just bought,
Right.
you know, the network.
Because then it's almost selling out. It's selling out your vision.
And I'm selling out also to all the, you know, like how many people, like, you know, you could watch that show with your parents and they would enjoy it.
Right. It's 39 episodes, you said?
39 episodes.
Now I got the artwork for the box because
Yeah.
now we can kind of do a play on the classic 39 from the Honeymooners
I love it.
and do it
Oh,
that
I
way
love
for
that.
Louie.
Well, Jackie Gleason was a
Big influence
big
to you.
influence,
Yeah.
and we just had his 100th birthday, I think, not too long ago, and he definitely inspired me, and so much that I had Audrey Meadows. Is that the one who played his wife?
She played Alice, yeah.
She was in my pilot, who played my aunt. In
For
my
Life of
pilot.
Louie.
Yeah, and she told me great Jackie Gleason stories. She said Jackie would show up and go, "You ready?"
Yeah,
And
he
they hadn't
never rehearsed.
or anything, so I just love that.
He wrote it or contributed to the writing, would go out drinking, do whatever,
Yeah.
and then he would show up on stage ready to go, and then he never failed.
And I think that's why we loved him. I'm sure it's why he slapped the table. He was trying to think of something to say.
Instead of saying, if he could get away with physical movements, he's already 2 steps ahead of where everybody else is.
It's like they used to say about comics in the vaudeville time. You would learn to do your act drunk. So no matter how bad it got out there, you could still do it as if you were drunk.
I got to learn to do interviews that way.
Yeah.
I think they would greatly improve.
Yeah, I think that you're good at interviewing, so I don't know.
Last
Drunk
thing-
might not be any fun.
Are any of your specials on Netflix?
My last one is Big Baby Boomer.
Right.
And then my book is now finally on Kindle, Dear Dad.
Okay.
And then my specials just are coming on iTunes or are on iTunes now. Mom Louie's Looking at Me and The Louie Show.
Because that always ties into, they always put different artist stuff together. So if you
Yeah.
found one project, it links you
Listen, we'd
to
love to
everything
do 'em
else.
all. Why
yeah,
not?
why not?
I own almost everything, so
Even the Showtime ones?
I own almost everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I own the
That's
Showtime
great.
ones for sure. But I like to do the commentary because Life with Louie I wasn't going to do it. So there's lots of really great stories there.
That you weren't going to do the
I
animated
wasn't
series
going
at
to
all.
do it. I said, I don't see how it would work. And then Matt O'Callahan, who was the animator, who just finished, he did Itsy Bitsy Spider and Curious George, but he works all the time. In fact, we just met about doing an animated movie. But anyway, maybe what we could do is tie in an animated movie with the release of of all the DVDs. That would be a really cool thing. But he took my Mom Louie's Looking at Me, which I see you have up on the screen there.
Right.
You can get the 25th anniversary at my website. And he took pictures that he was going to draw the animation, and he put it over my voice. He put it over my special where I did my mom's voice, my dad's voice, and me as a little kid's voice. And he drew the pictures, and then I could see it so clearly. And that's what sold me on doing it.
Let's also talk about why you're here, because your current project is amazing. Baskets on FX, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. on the FX network. Plus, if you haven't seen it on demand, or go to FX Now, which I do a lot for Simpsons World and Archer and a bunch of other things on FX.
Archer, man,
I love Archer. You can catch up all the episodes right there on FX Now. You play Zach Galifianakis' mom, Mrs. Christine Baskets. And I got to tell you, as the series has gone on, you're stealing the show here. And you're not overdoing anything. Your wit and your lines are just so dry, and you just let it sit there. And if people get it, amazing. If they don't get it, somewhere down the line while watching the episode, go, wait, I got to go back to that scene and then hear what he said again. And then I'm like, oh my God, now that was just so deadpan. That was really funny. Now you're in a coma, so what do we do? Like, I'm hoping you're coming back at some point.
Well, you never know with a coma, and especially diabetic coma.
Right.
Sugar pie will do that to you. And that was why, really challenging. That was a challenge. I'll tell you why that was such a challenging thing to shoot. My great nephew, Christopher, Michael McLaughlin, his son, went into a coma before we shot the thing. So it was such an odd thing to be shooting something about a coma with my nephew, who's still alive, thank God, praying for him. It's just so funny how in art, you're constantly doing stuff
That's
that
imitating
mirrors
life.
what's going on in your life. And so I didn't mean to bum anyone out, but,
No, but
life.
that's where you pull from.
Yeah, life, and you go, and everybody on the set was really pulling for him to make it because he was in really critical condition. And you just don't know how tenuous life is. And so this whole thing with Christine, I took a lot more serious in the coma thing.
Yeah, you're not forcing any jokes. You're not, or any, not that you're doing much physical comedy with
Yeah.
it, but nothing you're doing is forced. It just seems like you're just being a mom, doing what you would normally do. Nothing's unusual, despite what your son's doing. Nothing's unusual, and there's a bit of you're bullshitting yourself because you look at your son very fondly, and you don't want to fully acknowledge that he keeps messing up his life and the life of everybody else around him.
I realized this later in my own life, and I think you do. I don't think you think your parents messed up, but I think at a certain point in life, you think, oh, I think my mom and dad were like this. And I think that Christine has a past that you don't know about yet. And she might have been a little bit like Chip. There might have been a wild side to Christine. And so I really tried to I think Christine is super vulnerable, and I think Chip is super vulnerable. And I think she sides with him.
Mm-hmm.
When her husband fell off the bridge. I think that Chip, I don't know if you remember the speech, but he hardly made it. And he was able to survive that time when he learned to juggle. And so I think that she doesn't ever want to lose or have him slip away again. So I think she's trying to do everything she can to hold on to her son and to help him through what we all go through, which is difficult times.
Right.
I mean, I approach this as really his mom, both their moms, all of their moms. I really do. I really play it like I'm their mother. I don't break character on set. I really stay in character.
Louie, this is Paul. He works with me
Paul.
here.
Hello.
Paul has been on Baskets even before it came out.
We got the screeners. And
Right.
I plowed through all of them, and we're rewatching them.
He was imitating lines before we even got a chance to watch everything, and we're like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You'll see, you'll see."
Yeah.
He loves this show.
Everything from just your expression to everything down pat is so good. Just even from how you protected the pie from slipping on the ground in last night's episode.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect. Even the small town vibe, like the Bakersfield vibe, where you're giving his wife Penelope the tour, and it's everything from this Arby's is better because the curly fries. Everything is just so down pat with the character.
Well, real quick, that fast food, because I want to get into fast food in your act because that influenced me growing up too. But was that something that you got to throw into the character when you're doing the Arby's thing?
I got to add some of that, but some of it was already in the script, the Arby's stuff.
Oh, it was? Because I swear I thought that was your
the
influence.
curly fries thing. I got to Martha and Zach and I on the couch got to ad lib that stuff.
That was in the end credits.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I can't recite the scripts to you, and I can't tell you what's mine and what's theirs. But I can tell you we had a lot of freedom. I always said to Jonathan, can I do this how my mom would do it? And my mom, when you drove with her, she would say, and you can go back to my act and get this, she'd go, Shirley's daughter works in that building. And you'd go, who's Shirley? Oh, you know her. She's got that little chihuahua that can't walk. What? She bought you a little tiny pair of cowboy boots when you were 2. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moms have the history of everything. And that's from your mom and your dad. Same with Louie. You learn the history of everything. So when you take somebody back to your town, Arby's was our first fast food place. So I'm an expert at Arby's. I can tell you right now, you can still get an Arby's Super if you ask them for it. They'll still make you, it's not on the menu.
Well, it's not on the menu now because they have the meats now.
They do have the meats.
Right.
We have the meats.
It's 10 episodes the first season?
10 episodes.
And it's already been renewed for a second season?
It has. I'm trying to get him to do, 20 because I think
I could just see
deserve it.
the Christine Baskett's character. It's so good getting her own spin-off and just doing getting deeper into her life and
Could
her
you
backstory
start that
too.
campaign?
I would love to.
Because I'm right on board with you.
Well, in the show, they showed a flashback to young Christine with her mom giving her a hard time. I'm trying to remember, what was the scene? Was
the
it
Easter.
Yeah,
it was Easter, but what was it back then? Was she a cheerleader? Cheerleader. I was going to say prom.
She sprained her ankle.
So that could be where, going into her college years, where, as you were saying, Christine could be a lot
she
like
had a
Chip.
life, like you say.
Right.
That nothing would make me happier than to enhance what's already been out there. I love doing this show. I love working with Jonathan. I love working with Zach and Martha. I have to tell you, that was what I was going for, exactly what you're talking about. How would my mom protect the pie. Do you remember when you were growing up, if there was something in the front seat, your arm would catch it? There was no way it was going to. I spent a lot of time on that pie. And then I go, maniac. You know, I wasn't going to let I tried to be my dad and my mom in that character because the mean part is definitely how my dad was.
When you first see the first couple episodes of Baskets, you think it's just going to be like the evolution of this guy being a clown. But it really, I love how it really just gets into more of the family atmosphere with the twin brother and then the step brothers, and just that every dynamic just fits so perfectly with each other and how it's evolving now that it's a continuation story of more about the family instead of just this guy's career as a clown.
You know, this is a show that they designed it, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But this show is, to me, all about family. It's not about anything else. It's about the dynamic in your family. I'm telling you, what I'm trying to go for is every mom in America or your aunt or whoever, because I get this all the time on Twitter, at Louie Anderson, so I can get 600 followers. But remember when you first started Twitter, and I'd go to other comedians' Twitters and go, how did they get all them? How did Howie Mandel get all those? You know, and just how competitive. And then once you realize none of that matters. But I get this all the time on Twitter. My aunt is just like you. You're playing my mother-in-law. You know, and then they post pictures, which is my favorite thing. You look just like my cousin.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did have this plan to show you that one of the more disturbing things with watching Baskets and when your character debuted was I realized you have my mom's hairdo.
Oh, wow. Can I see it?
Right there.
Oh, my God.
That's my
Oh, my God.
So when you walked out, I freaked out. And I went,
Can you
oh, my
believe
God,
it?
that's my mom.
I thought those were real birds in the background. What's your mom's name?
Diane.
Diane. I'm on your son's show. How are you? I love her.
She's listening down in West Palm Beach.
Oh, well, who is she? She's got it made. I love it. She
Right?
looks, I'm not kidding you, yeah.
So,
You know, it's just so funny to see people's moms, isn't it? Like, that's the best part of life.
I guess I
is when
fall
you
into
meet-
that mold there where
Yeah, you
everybody's
go-
like, you're my aunt, you're my mom.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when you walked out.
And it's so relatable in the one episode where you're showing the step twins' room, and you're just showing off, and you're like trophy. It's just so relatable because that's how like everybody's mom is.
Well,
And
they're
you-
DJs now.
Yeah. Oh, you know, for the Chemical Brothers.
So
I'm
Baskets,
glad you like it so much.
we
love
love it so much. Baskets, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. on FX. Go to FX Now to catch up if you haven't even started it or if you missed a few. If it's not on demand, FX Now definitely has this. We only have a few more minutes with you, but I wanted to get into a couple other things.
Sure, anything.
You're in two of my favorite movies, one being Ferris Bueller, where you're the flower delivery guy, and the other one is Coming to America, where you work at McDowell's.
Right.
And you play Maurice. Now, I heard a story about how you got the role.
Yeah.
And I want to see if this is true.
Yes.
Did it involve being at the same restaurant with Eddie Murphy?
It did. I bought lunch for him and his entourage, but I told the waiter, don't tell Eddie about it till I'm gone. I'm not looking for any praise.
So you paid for
I
it
gave
as you
my
were leaving?
American Express card. It was $660.
That's amazing.
It was and I go, just pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. Who else gets a chance to pick up Eddie Murphy's lunch?
And that's like
I'm
at
a kid
the
from
height of
Minnesota.
his fame.
Yeah, he had a good group with them, but it was really nice. And then they called and said, hey, Eddie said nobody ever picks up his lunch, which I
Right.
was surprised by. And he said, I'm doing this little movie called Coming to America, and I'd like you to do a part in it. Then I flew to New York, I think, and met with John Landis because he wanted to meet me. And that was really fascinating because he talked about Twilight Zone because he was just going through all that stuff with Twilight Zone.
Right.
You know, that unfortunate stuff with Vic Morrow and the kids and that. So it was quite a thing. Like, I had been thrust into that movie. And that movie, I didn't know how big that movie was going to be till I got on the set. And then I saw, oh, my God, I'm really lucky.
Because when I heard this story, and I was like, why haven't more actors thought to do this? Like, if you're out
they're
in
not
L.A.,
from the Midwest. Midwesterners
you know
are
what that is? They
notorious.
don't have that
Notorious
morality
for-
instilled in them.
Well, you know, like, You know, like
Good manners.
Even if I don't make it in show business, I thought, well, I'm going to go back and I can tell that story. What did you do last week? I bought Eddie Murphy's lunch.
But nowadays, that's just being a nice person, and it worked out for you. But somebody could take that, that story and go, look,
Well,
I'm at Ben Frank's in L.A. and I happen to see J.J. Abrams. Here's $100. Just pay for JJ's lunch while I'm going to go out. And then all of a sudden, you might be in JJ's next movie.
Don't think JJ wouldn't call you and thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know that nobody picks up anybody's lunch?
Nobody.
And you should do it. And you should do it just out of whether you get something or not.
You're a
that's
good
a
person.
Midwestern. Well, my mom was a good person, and that's why Christine exists. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm drawing all that stuff from my mom and 5 sisters and every Midwesterner I ever met and every mom I've ever met. Every mom becomes something, to her family. And, they all have lives, moms. And I'm trying to make Christine have a great life, too. It's not just Chip and Dale and the boys. It's,
Well, she's having fun. I really love the fact that you had membership at the top level to every kind of Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, all of that stuff.
Well, that even goes to his point, how she's becoming a mother to every character, where she's like, I'll sign up for Martha's thing to help you out here.
Right.
Yes. Because, that was the really thing. I mean, that wasn't my idea, but what a good note in the script where mom helps 2 people out because, moms help people out. Dad abandoned us. He had that terrible fall off the bridge.
I'm sure they're going to explore that. They have to in season 2.
Yeah.
Because it's just too... It's like in The Simpsons, Marge's dad, the original story was that he died on a roller coaster. And then they never explored that. I'm like, why didn't they... That's just such a weird way to go. They have a season 2 now. You got to find out why he fell off the bridge.
Well...
But I do like the mystery of it sometimes, though.
Yeah.
And then you piece together, you see the characters evolve and how it affects them.
Do you think it's funnier just to keep referencing that and then actually see the story?
I think you save all those things for the last season.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully season 2 will not be the last season of
I
Baskets.
hope not either. I want more people to watch it. A lot of people like it, but you always need people to watch it because that's what keeps shows on. Like look at the Americans, who I'm a big fan of, is coming on. People are watching it. I was glad that show hung on because isn't it nice to have shows that have a particular thing that aren't broadly, but really are nuanced and really artistic? And I'm telling you, Baskets I'm working with the artists. I'm telling you, Jonathan Kreisel is a unbelievable director.
Well, Baskets Thursdays, 10 p.m. on FX. We tell people this too. If you DVR it, you have up to 3 days to watch it, where it still counts.
Oh, cool.
To the numbers for that week's viewing. And
everybody,
of course,
go back, and even if you're not in the room, play all the episodes.
Right, all at once.
Yes.
Every mobile device, load up FX now and play each episode.
FX. I mean, not that we're struggling, because we're not. But
no, not
they
at all.
already gave us season 2, but, help us stay, true to the thing. Plus, find the character in Baskets that lights your fire.
Right.
And follow it right through.
Also, the Louie Anderson podcast, which comes out with a new episode every Tuesday. Subscribe on iTunes. Are you enjoying doing that?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do one with Zach and Martha coming up. That should be a lot of fun. I did the Great American Comedy Festival and did some of the people who were involved with that, Johnny Carson's festival.
Right.
And I love doing that. I like talking to comics about their journey.
Podcasts seem to be the saving grace for comics nowadays because they can just take the recorder with them. And when they're on the road, they're stuck in a hotel room, maybe in a town that doesn't have much nightlife or something going on. They get stir crazy, and it can lead to bad things down the line or developing other obsessions. But this way they can just turn it on and ramble for an hour, and they send it, they put some production on it, and there's a podcast for the week.
And you always find out something. Like I did the one with Frank Caliendo, who's my friend, and I said, who do you think his first impression was in life?
I don't know.
I mean,
probably his parents.
No, the Muppets.
Really?
When he'd watch it on TV, he would go around and impersonate the Muppets. And I found that out because I'm always fascinating what makes an impressionist an impressionist.
Well, check out the Louie Anderson podcast. Maybe Louie will do some impressions going down the line here.
I might. I wouldn't doubt it.
Last thing, and then I know you got to run off here. Your comedy, like I said, it was another thing I grew up with. You were one of the comics I was allowed to watch as a kid. Your Showtime special, I remember vividly, and then some of the other appearances you did. I'm going to butcher this joke, but the concept of what you said really hit home with me when I realized this man loves fast food as much as I do. You had some joke where you were talking about going through the drive-thru and ordering French fries. And you said, just throw them in the back seat.
Right.
And then you said, oh, don't worry, I have my own salt shaker. And you're just going nuts as you drive. And I was like, I want to do that one day. Like, if you ever won the lottery, that is something, just fill up your car with French fries and drive around.
I'll just quickly do the joke. They go, what size you want? I go, how about the basket you fry them in? Go ahead. I don't use my back seat. Dump them in there.
Oh, it was such a great visual, and I was just like, this guy's amazing. And your love for fast food, I found a bonding moment in the comedy of Louie Anderson.
Thank you so
Louie,
much.
thank you so much. Louie Anderson on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you. I can't tell you what this means to me for the Life with Louie pin that you just gave me.
Well,
here.
you know, I give it to all the people who are going to produce stuff for me.
Oh, right. You got a bag like they walk around in the Olympics.
No, I don't. Actually, that's my pin. That's my pin. But what matters about things is the same with Eddie. Like, buy the lunch. Don't look for results.
Right.
Give the pin for the love. If I had something of Christine's, I would give it to you. Maybe a necklace that you could wear around. People go, that's a weird necklace.
Send him one of those old dresses.
You know what I'll do? I'll send something of Christine's, all right? So make sure I have your cards.
Please do.
Yeah.
Louie, nothing but love for you, sir. Thank you so much. And next time you're back in New York, there's so much more that I have here that I didn't get a chance to talk to. I wanted to talk to you about being Jeff Peterson on the Late Late Show, Family Feud,
that was
your
an
comedy
amazing
stuff.
experience, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to come and do your show again anytime.
Please do. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.